the feints, the foot movement, the way he lands shots. He fights like a boxer. He doesn't fight like a guy who's trying to box in a celebrity boxing match.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Joe Rogan has once again sparked major discussion across the combat sports world with his bold take on the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight. The longtime UFC commentator didn't hold back, saying that Jake Paul's massive size and weight advantage could potentially end Tank's career if the two actually meet in the ring. Rogan made it clear that while Gervonta is one of the most explosive punchers in boxing today, he's simply too small to deal with some of Jake's physical strength, reach, and overall size.
My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me into court, I'm an idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it,
watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also the sports betting apps, they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia. So it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you in. They're just trying to make money.
Rogan also acknowledged that Jake Paul has made real progress as a fighter. He said if Jake weren't known as a YouTuber, people would be praising his development because he clearly understands the sport, shows real composure in the ring, and doesn't just swing wildly. However, Rogan warned that facing Gervonta Davis is extremely risky. He stressed that Davis is operating on an entirely different level when it comes to skill, precision, and knockout power, and if Jake underestimates him, it could go very badly.
What do you think of this Jake Paul fella?
I always say that if Jake Paul was not a YouTube star, people just looked at him like an up-and-coming boxer, you would say this kid's got a lot of fucking talent. He's dangerous. I think his strength is that they underestimate him background was. And they think there's no way that some guy who became famous off of YouTube is going to be an actual legit boxer. If you look at what he's done, he's a very good boxer.
Jake Paul didn't shy away from bold claims, saying, "I would destroy him in a ring, given the size." While he added a note of respect for Gervonta's ability and dedication, that statement triggered instant backlash. Critics argue that comments like this cheapen the seriousness of the matchup, turning it into a show of ego rather than competition. With Jake weighing close to 200 pounds as a cruiserweight and Davis fighting at lightweight, the enormous gap in size has fueled fears that this isn't just a mismatch, it's dangerously unbalanced showmanship.
I'd be down. Let's run it. Like, I'd be super, super down.
I don't know if Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
For Tank, there's no way that this goes well for Tank Davis. Because if he wins, they go, oh yeah, world champion. Of course you were supposed to beat that YouTuber. If he struggles but wins, they go, ooh, Tank is washed. He struggled against Jake Paul. He still won, but he had a hard time. And then, of course, if he loses to Jake Paul, and him and boxing lose their credibility.
Rogan's remarks came right as new details about the event were announced. The exhibition fight is now scheduled for November 14th, 2025, at the Casillas Center in Miami. It will be a 10-round bout streamed live on Netflix. The catch weight is reportedly set at 195 pounds, which is far above Gervonta's usual 135 pounds lightweight limit, and even heavier than Jake's most recent cruiserweight fights.
My point still stands where it stands. Jake Paul wins this fight. I already bet Gervonta Davis in the DMs. We locked the bet. Guys, it's obvious Jake wins this fight. If you guys know anything about fighting, you know about weight classes. You know that Jake's been training for actual years. He's been locked in.
Oh my days. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is random, no?
Beyond Rogan's comments, many boxing experts and analysts have also voiced their opinions. Their reactions have ranged from cautious optimism to outright disbelief, with many questioning whether this fight is truly legitimate or safe, given the stark physical differences between the two.
Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Chilaquiles.
Musty energy. Musty energy. Musty energy. Musty energy.
Oh, it's musty, and I say that respectfully. Per Mike Hoppinger in the Ring magazine, Gervonta Tank Davis, freshly off his domestic violence charges being dropped, will get into the ring with Jake Paul in Atlanta with a proposed date of November 15th. Lord child. Get your hand out of my pocket! Tank weighs about 135. Jake Paul weighs about 200-something pounds. So obviously this will be at a catch weight, and this possibly will not be a sanctioned fight where it will count on anybody's records. But I'm going to tell y'all like this. Tank fans, you niggas down bad. The hatred.
Musty energy.
You niggas is down bad. Tank basically on the back half of his career, according to my brother Nestor Gibbs from the Boxing Voice. This man, Gervonta Tank Davis, said, I am not fighting no Shakur Stevenson. The man said, I'm not even going to rematch Lamont Sanat. The man just said, I'm not even thinking about fighting Dev Dollars, Devin the Dream, Debo Haney. I am going directly into Jake Paul. I've been told you that Tank was the black Jake Paul. Tank been the black Jake Paul. Man ain't care about legacy. Man ain't care about none of that, bro. Tank fans, you niggas down bad. Protect your fighter. It is musty at the highest level. And poor Lamont Sanat, it might be over for Lamont Sanat. He got to fight somebody. You might need to fight Gary Russell Jr. right now. Tank Davis, Lord Child, Jake Paul, boxing down bad. This about to make a lot of money. The only plus in this is that Alicia Baumgardner, aka Bomb Amy, might be on this card. I would love to see Alicia Baumgardner back on Netflix. That is a plus, and my man Lucas Body might get on there as well, and Avius Griffin. So it might be a movie as far as the undercard. Tank Davis, you down bad, bro. Boxing is absolutely disgusting and musty at the highest level. Get it together. Tank is a 30-plus-year-old prospect at the back end of his career. He on his Mayweather McGregor at the age of 30. Lord child.
Gervonta Davis's head trainer, Calvin Ford, admitted that the fight carries real risk due to the size difference, but said, "We signed a contract. We're going to make it happen." Ford explained that their main focus isn't just on weight. It's on the gloves. Both camps are still negotiating whether to use lighter or heavier gloves. He pointed out that Gervonta usually fights with 8-ounce gloves and suggests a compromise, that Jake used 10-ounce gloves while Davis sticks with 8 ounces.
I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there, because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mismatch. It's supposed to be an expedition. What's the matter? What, you know, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank don't really care, you know. So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you know, he can weigh the 10s and we weigh the 8s. Then we got to fight.
Ford also revealed that the team was initially preparing for a rematch against Lamont Roach Jr., but when the opportunity to face Jake Paul came up, they couldn't turn it down. He said the Roach fight made more sense from a competitive standpoint, but the Paul bout offered far greater visibility and financial reward. Ford defended their decision, saying Gervonta has earned the right to take these kind of big opportunities. And sometimes, when a big door opens, a fighter has to walk through it, even if it's not the obvious path. However, the fight has already faced strong pushback from regulators. The Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission refused to sanction it in Atlanta due to the extreme weight gap. Its chairman, Rick Thompson, called it the dumbest thing I've ever heard, dismissing it as a pure money grab. When Jake's team requested a waiver to overlook weight classes, the commission declined, citing safety concerns over such a major mismatch. As a result, the fight was moved to Miami.
Today, the chairman of the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, the commission that is going to be voting whether or not to approve Tank Davis and Jake Paul. His name is Rick Thompson. He has some very choice words for Jake and Tank fight. He says it's the dumbest ish he's ever heard. It's a money grabber, and he's not okay with that. And he doesn't like the arrogance of Tank Davis and Jake Paul announcing their fight, marketing their fight, having press conferences and shit before the commission can vote whether or not they're going to approve the fight. He calls it arrogance. Their concerns, obviously, the weight discrepancy between the two. In the state of Georgia, two competitors cannot outweigh each other by more than 9 pounds. Tank and Jake Paul's teams have already submitted a rule waiver request to get that rule waived. And Rick Thompson also said in this article that he is expecting the committee to put it to a vote as to whether or not they're going to approve this fight on September the 18th when they're meeting again. Also, we got some insight that USA Today tried to reach out to other members of the committee, and all of them declined to comment on what's going on. But what I do know is that the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, it's a 5-person panel that's going to be voting on this Tank Davis Jake Paul.
Former world champion Amir Khan also spoke out strongly against the matchup, calling it disgusting and warning that these kind of exhibition fights with big weight differences could cause serious injuries and damage boxing's reputation. Khan emphasized that weight classes and proper sanctioning exist for a reason, to protect fighters. He went on to criticize Gervonta, saying that by agreeing to this fight, instead of facing another top-level boxer, he's helping turn boxing into a spectacle rather than a sport. Khan added that while Davis is incredibly skilled, stepping into the ring under such unfair terms, with such a huge size disadvantage, raises real questions about both safety and the sport's integrity. His message was blunt.
Oh my God, the efficiency of it. Giant fan of the guy. I just loved, as a person who really enjoyed technique, I like watching someone who's exceptional at it. I always admired guys who were able to find the shortest path connecting with a shot. Where it's just the technique is so dialed in. There's guys.
So what do you think? Do you agree with Joe Rogan's assessment? Or do you believe Gervonta Tank Davis will once again silence his critics? Share your predictions